Good evening. I'm Tom Cherhelms, developer of LinuxMCE, one of the developers anyway. But tonight I wanted to kind of take you through a small little tour of the preliminary PlayStation 1 support. Specifically just going through a couple of games, looking through the media catalogs, and just showing you where things are at the moment. For the purposes of this demonstration, I will be using my, my gyroscopic remote here, but I could just as easily use my orbiter remote, which I will go ahead and just pop up here to the screen every now and then so you guys can see, or perhaps even my little Nokia N810. In fact, that might actually be a bit better. But anyway, so to start off, basically, yeah, we've got more games to run using the PCSX-Reloaded emulator. Fantastic emulator. Still some graphical glitches that show up in bits and pieces of places. But you might ask yourself, why would you run a game on an emulator as opposed to if you have the real device? Well, PlayStation devices particularly were designed in times when all we had were 4x3 TVs. Not very many people had widescreen televisions, and now they're pretty much prevalent everywhere. So one of the things that PCSX does is that if you've got a game that's in widescreen format, it will take and stretch it automatically to fit your widescreen display correctly. Now, we'll go ahead and go into the PlayStation section here. And we have a handful of games. I'm slowly taking and copying more and more of the games that I have here in my collection, ripping them onto the system here. Whenever the ripping feature is completely automatic, I will take and make a video basically showing all of these features and including the automatic ripping. But that comes later. Now, for the sake of our demonstration here, we'll go ahead and we will, actually, I'm going to take and just show you the details of just one of these games, like for example here. Now, if there are tags in the file name, such as parentheses for manufacturer and year and stuff, they will automatically be put over here. Now, one of the things that you'll notice here is that the names of the files are .bin or .iso. The files for PlayStation 1 games need to be either in bin or ISO or IMG format. IMG being the raw image format used by Alcohol, if I remember correctly. Anything else we won't find yet. So one of the other things that you'll probably notice here too is that the file share is actually on my NAS here as a Windows share. So the ROM is actually being stored on my network hard drive. The ROMs can be stored pretty much anywhere as long as they're in a folder that ends with PS1, so the system knows where they are. So we'll go ahead and hit play, we'll go ahead and close here, because what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to hit play all. So it will take and select every single one of them, starting with the very first one. And of course right here, I think this is Bomberman Fantasy Race. As you can see, the LinuxMCE graphics lay over the top of it. Now, some games run at full speed, some don't yet, especially with my system. You need a lot of power to take and run many of these games. So, for the purposes of my demonstration here, I have a quad-core E8200 Intel. As you can see, it's loading, and one of the things that you'll notice is that the game is properly stretched in widescreen, and it fills my screen quite nicely. So, we're going to go ahead and one of the things for the purposes of demonstration, I have a fairly standard generic USB game controller here that's actually shaped like a PlayStation with the PlayStation button layout. The layouts of the buttons are the same, so there shouldn't be any button remapping needed if you've got a controller shaped like PlayStation. I'm actually going to go ahead. We have memory cards, but we don't have support more than 2 memory cards right now. We'll take and add more as we need to. So we'll go ahead and hit select here. Blah blah blah. Okay. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and go. Anyway, one of of the nice things too is that we can use our remote to select a different game. Like, for example, Crash Bandicoot. The game will load. As you can see, it renders quite nicely. And as you can see, Crash Bandicoot. Now, I suck at all these games, so I'm just going to take and go through them really quickly here, just for the sake of playing them. Whee! Bye-bye. Trying to remember which one's jump. Yep, okay. Ah! And there we go. So, we can see some other games as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead just for this, just so you can see. If you have an Orbiter tablet, you can actually see the game that's being played, plus a list of all the other games in your playlist. And selecting one of these games in your playlist actually will launch that game and update the cover art appropriately. Looks like we got a little bit of teeny weeny bit of lag here on this emulation, but we'll try anyway. Yeah, again, reinforcing the simple fact that you really, really, really need a fast machine to play this nicely.
So, this is the Cretaceous way of welcoming guests, huh? Not exactly the red carpet treatment.
There's no response.
I'm pretty sure my team's alright. There's more than 1,000 survivors. Let's get moving. Now,
So,
hold on.
moving on.
What was your name again? Hey!
Gran Turismo plays quite nicely. As we can see. Quite nice. Yes, I suck. I know I do. Whee! There you go. Of course, pause works, so we can go ahead and go on to the next game. Save states are currently not supported. They will be at some point. But I'll go ahead and, just for the sake of argument here, we'll take a look real quick at Mega Man X6. And you can see one of the advantages of actually storing your games on your core instead of having to take and stick a CD in is that you don't have to stick a CD in. You have to go over to your collection, pull it out, stick it in the drive, wait for it to load. But if you want to switch a game, you saw how quickly it's able to switch games between them. So, there you go. Now, I do want to point out specifically that we do not support multi-disc games yet. I am working on a solution for that, so please be patient. I know some of you guys want to play Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. You will be able to eventually, okay? I promise. So. Yeah. Come on. Now, some of the more palette and sprite-based games that are present on the PlayStation play a lot better than the 3D games, which is pretty obvious, I think. That's it. Thank you. But as you can see, quite nice, I think. Woo, shut up. So yeah, okay, pause again. And I guess we'll end off with Spider-Man here. We'll see if this one actually works. I haven't tested it, so we don't know. Yeah, it seems to work. Looks like we have an Italian version here.
Technology is the light.
Come on.
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike.
But, as you can see, renders pretty nicely.
Hey, Black Cat, what's going on?
I know there's been some trouble, but the bank's being robbed, and they've got hostages. Use your Spidey compass to get to the bank quickly.
Thanks, Cat.
Okay. Can't remember any of that, but yeah, bye-bye. Yeah, okay. So, there we go, basically. We have here more progress on the PlayStation emulation. We have a nice, easy way to take and select games. We still need to do save. We still need to do a few other things before I take and consider this well enough to actually release to the public. If you really want it, you can, of course, get the code out of SGN and poke around and put it together. You will need a copy of PCSX-R installed so that it will run and do its thing. But anyway, once this is all, but of course, like everything else, once this is actually put together and assembled and released, all you will have to do is enable the game player, and at that point you'll be able to take and load whatever games you want to load and rip them on the system, and you can play them. You'll also be able to play them directly off the disc as well. So, yeah, until next time, see you guys later. Bye.